Hey everyone, it's Joanne. So for today's video, I have a book unhauling for you. And it's a massive book unhauling. I decided to kind of clean out my bookshelves and look around for any books that I don't want to read anymore, and to reorganize all my bookshelves and all the bins that I have my books in, because like I said, I live in a one-bedroom apartment with my boyfriend, so I was only allowed to bring 2 bookshelves when I had like 6 at my mom's house, so I kind of wanted to rearrange them, get rid of some books that I'm not going to read, and just fix them so that they look nice. So I ended up doing that, and I ended up wanting to get rid of a lot of books. I think there's like maybe 60 books that I want to get rid of. And the sad part is, and the scary part is, that that doesn't even make a dent into how many books that I actually have. And I'm talking about physical copies. So that just shows how much of a book buying problem that I have. That getting rid of 60 books does not even make a dent in the amount of books that I have. So that's kind of, yeah. So since there's so many books, I'm just going to show the books. I'm not really going to go into detail about the synopsis or anything like that. The reason I'm getting rid of these books is because some of them have been sitting on my shelves for like 5 years, and if I haven't read them yet, I'm not going to read them, and a lot of them I just lost interest in reading. For example, I have lots of vampire books in here, and that was because when there was the vampire craze, where everybody was writing vampire books, I went nuts and like bought like every vampire book, and now I just don't really want to read them, and a lot of them are like the same story over and over again, so I was just like, let me just get rid of them. So all of these books are going to the library. My mom works in the library. She brings all of my books to the library, and I donate them to them so that they could have them. So that's what I do with my books. So yeah, all of these books I've lost interest in reading. I'm sorry if any of your favorite books are in this unhaul video, but I just don't have any interest in these books anymore. So since this is such a massive pile, let's just get started. So I think I have an even mix between hardcover and paperback. So I don't even know where to start. So the first book is The Secret Year by Jennifer R. Hubbard, and this book is just about a boy and a girl who were together for a year, but they didn't tell anybody, and then she ends up passing away, and then he finds her journal, and I think he reads it. So yeah, I just don't have any interest in reading this book. The next one I got during my fairy tale craze, and that is The Rumpelstiltskin Problem by Vivian Vandy Velde, and this book is just a whole bunch of short stories about Rumpelstiltskin. Next is White as Snow by Tanith Lee, and this is a retelling of Snow White. So the next 4 books I'm getting rid of are Alex Flynn books, and she writes fairy tale retellings. This is A Kiss in Time, Cloaked, Bewitching, and Towering, all by Alex Flynn. I have Ultraviolet by R.J. Anderson. This is kind of like a sci-fi kind of book. The Poison House by Michael Ford. This is a ghost haunting book. I'm getting rid of a duology, Stung and Cured by Bethany Wiggins. This is about something where if you get a tattoo on you, you become a mindless beast like a zombie. It's a dystopian. So back in the day, a few years ago, I was a huge Vampire Diaries fan and fanatic and everything, so I have all the books written by L.J. Smith. But then the TV series came out, and I started watching that, and then they came out with books that are based on the TV series. So I just decided I read the first book of the series, and it was alright, it was like a 3-star, and so, I don't know, it mostly follows the TV series, and L.J. Smith, the one who created the Vampire Diaries, didn't write these, so I feel like I'm okay with giving them away. And they are the Vampire Diaries Stefan Diaries series, and they are Volume 1, Origins, Volume 2, Bloodlust, Volume 3, The Craving, Volume 4, The Ripper, Volume 5, The Asylum, and Volume 6, The Compelled. Next up is The Watcher by Lisa Boysen, and this is kind of like an angel book that is similar to Fallen by Lauren Kate. Next is Oh Juliet by Robin Maxwell, and this is a Romeo and Juliet retelling. Next is Shadow Cry by Jenna Burtonshaw. This book is about this girl who's able to bring things back to life or something like that, and apparently that's wrong where she lives, and the punishment is death for that, so people are after her because of that. Next is Suck It Up by Brian Meal. I don't know how to pronounce that name, but this is a book about a boy who gets turned into a vampire, and he kind of outs himself as a vampire and lets the world know that he's a vampire. Next is a trilogy, but only the first 2 books are out, so I have them, and that is Insatiable and Overbite by Meg Cabot, and this is basically a story about a girl named Mina Harper who ends up falling in love with a vampire. I have The Vampire Promise by Carolyn B. Cooney, and this is 3 books in 1, and it's about vampires. I'm getting rid of Fat Vampire by Adam Rex. This is about a boy who's, I guess, fat, and he gets turned into a vampire. The next books are a trilogy, and they are Crusade, Damned, and Vanquish by Nancy Holder and Debbie Vigue. I can't pronounce her last name. This is a vampire series, and there's a war between vampires and hunters. And next is Contaminated by M. Garner, and this is a kind of like dystopian kind of book where a soft drink has caused a lot of people to become mindless monsters, and it's about a girl and her sister surviving and trying to rehabilitate their zombie-ish kind of mother. Next is By These 10 Bones by Claire B. Dunkel, and I thought that this was a retelling of Beauty and the Beast because that was how it sounded like on Goodreads and wherever I look for it, but it's not. It's just a werewolf book, and yeah. Next is The Boyfriend by R.L. Stine. I read this when I was like in 6th grade. I remember having it, and it's not the best, so... Next is The Wrath by S.A. Bodine, and this is a survival story about a girl who is in a plane crash. She's the only survivor, and she's on a raft. Next is Rapunzel Untangled by Cindy C. Bennett. I thought this was like a retelling of Rapunzel, and it is, but it's a modern-day retelling of Rapunzel, and when it comes to my fairy tale retellings, I'm not really into modern retellings, like the Rapunzel meets the guy on Facebook. Like, no, that's just not for me. So, the next book I'm getting rid of is Lacrimosa by Christine Fonseca. Sorry, I can't pronounce these names. This is a book about an angel who comes to Earth in a human body, and she is sent there to fight against the war with hell. And next is Cupid by Julius Lester, and this is just a retelling of the Cupid and Psyche, I think her name is, myth. Still have a lot to go, and my mom's going to be so happy that she has to lug all these books to the library. Next is Circle 9 by Anne Hetzel. The next book is Nightmare City by Andrew Clavian, and this book is about a boy who wakes up one day and his town is covered in fog and there's nobody to be seen. Next is Rebel by Marissa Gubord. Sorry, I butchered that name. This is about a girl who goes to an island where her parents don't want her to go to this island, and there's a mystery about this island, and that's all I know about it. Next is After Obsession by Carrie Jones and Stephen Weddle. This book is about demon possession. It's Dead to You by Lisa McMahon, and this book is about a boy who disappeared and was abducted a long time ago, and it's about him coming back after years being gone and his life and how he tries to, I guess, assimilate back into his family. Next is Willow by Julie Hoban, and this is about a girl whose parents died in a car crash where she was driving the car, and to take away that emotional pain, she cuts. And it's about her falling in love for the first time and how the guy helps her, I think, with her cutting situation. Next is Bumped by Megan McCafferty. This is a dystopian book about two twins who live in a society where a virus makes everybody over the age of 18 infertile. So if people want to have babies, they kind of like hire out teenagers' wombs or whatever, and it's about these two girls and them getting bumped, meaning them getting pregnant. Next is Throat by R.A. Nelson. This is another vampire book. Next is Starstruck by Sin Balog. Next is The Gathering Dark by Christine Johnson, and it's about this girl who starts hallucinating, and she doesn't know why she's hallucinating, but then of course a mysterious guy comes in and he knows the answer to why she's hallucinating, and I guess he helps her figure out the mystery. Next is The Book of Blood and Shadow by Robin Wasserman. This is about a girl whose friend was murdered, and her boyfriend or a guy or her friend is framed for the murder, and she investigates to try and clear his name. Next is Enchanted by Alethea Contis, and this is kind of like a fairy tale retelling of The Frog Prince. Next is Divided We Fall by Trent Reedy. This is a dystopian novel where there is or there's going to be another civil war in the United States. Next is Jane by Robin Maxwell, and this is obviously about Jane Porter, who is the main female character in Tarzan. Next is The Haven by Carol Lynch Williams, and this is a book about kids who are kept in this hospital and they don't remember anything from before, and they're there and the people there are telling them that they are there for a reason, that they're there for them to take care of them. Next is The Revenant by Sonia Gensler, and this is just a ghost story. Next is The House of Lost Souls by F.G. Katam, and this is about a house where after people visit it, they commit suicide, and this guy is trying to save his sister from something that's going to happen to her. Next is Wake Unto Me by Lisa Cash. This book is about a girl who dreams of a mysterious guy, and it ends up that he's a ghost. Yeah, I tried reading this book once, and I just gave up on it. The One Safe Place by Tanya Unsworth. Next is Starters by Lisa Price, and this is a sci-fi book. The next two books are more dystopian books, and one is Slated by Terry Terry, and this is about a girl who lives in a society where people's minds are wiped clean after they commit a crime. The next book is Article 5 by Kristen Simmons. Next is Croak by Gina D'Amico, and this is about a girl whose family are Grim Reapers. Next is Wolves Among Us by Ginger Garrett. For some strange reason, I thought that this was a werewolf book, but it's not. It's like a Christian genre book. Next is Venomous by Christopher Crobiton, and this is basically about a boy who has anger issues, and he calls his anger issues venom. Next is Barely Alive by Bonnie R. Paulson, and this is a zombie book. And finally, the last book is Taste by Kate Evangelista. So those are all the books that I'm getting rid of and I'm giving to the library, and yeah, it's just a lot of books that I've lost interest in reading, and they made space on my shelves for all of my other books, so I guess it's like a win-win. Plus they're going somewhere where they'll be useful, where people will actually read them instead of sitting on my shelves, so that's always a plus. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked the video. You can let me know down below if you read any of these books that I'm giving away, and you can tell me your thoughts on them, and I will see you next time with another video.